That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of That Sounds Fun, Annie and Eddie Keep Talking edition. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Today on the show, our friend Eddie Kaufholz and I keep talking. We just finished recording. We showed up with a whole list of things between Eddie and I, including some thoughts we had on the SNL 50th anniversary, because y'all know we're going to talk about SNL. Eddie also came rolling in asking for forgiveness about something he did. We've never done that before. You're going to love this story. Well, of course, we've forgiven each other before, but I don't know that we've ever showed up with forgiveness on our list. If you're following along in the TSF Seasons Guidebook, there's no taking pages for this one, but by all means, if you want to take notes, we are not the boss of you. There are certainly space. Go for it. Hop in there. So here's my conversation with our pal, Eddie Kaufholz. Edward, it's such a good time to get to podcast with you today.
Annie F. Downs.
Listen, for people aren't surprised, we are not live. We're doing this the week before, so we are in the smack middle of launch week for Where Did TJ Go? And I do know that my entire team was in town. My entire family was in town, and the last team member left 90 minutes ago from my house. And the only thing I know my brain wants to do right now is talk to Eddie Kaufholz. So,
well, that is sweet. Samesies. I like saying samesies. I have a lot of list stuff to talk about.
Okay.
So do you. We've got a lot happening, but I need to talk about how was the whole friends and family in New York thing?
I will tell you the 100% truth. And our engineer / COO, Ashley, is sitting here too. I was so stressed beforehand that it wouldn't be fun enough and that I hadn't planned well, because I'm not gifted in that. And that it was going to feel like a ton of pressure. And it was the opposite. It was so easy and so fun. And there was never a lick of pressure that I experienced. Everybody just had fun. I think, Ashley, will you say, she's nodding. Okay. Yes. I think everybody just had fun. And my friends from New York, 8 to 10 of my friends came to dinner with my family and team. And the idea that I have 8 to 10 friends in New York and I've only lived here part-time for 16 months. I mean, it's just it was great. It was more, and I mean, I got to introduce my family and my team to my New York City, right? Like we went to restaurants I have this post people will have seen by the time they hear this about taking everybody to Linwich, which is like this chain lunch place here. But for my first 2.5 days when I moved here 2 Octobers ago, it's the only thing I ate because I couldn't figure out where else to go. And so it's just really moving to me to have 16 people around a table at this exact same, we were at the exact location that I guess I'll go back and get that Caesar chicken wrap again because I don't know how to live here. And then I was like, well, now I'll take 16 of my people to this restaurant and 4 of them will get the exact thing I order every time because they want me to order it for them.
Right. And that's so sweet. And I'm sure the vibe of all these people that didn't know each other all being in the same place, it was all just, I mean, I don't want to maybe it wasn't, but there's no weirdness, right? Everybody
You're going to love it. I mean, I showed some pictures online, but we reserved this restaurant on the Upper West Side it looks like a library and it only seats 35 people. So we filled it. I mean, cool. We were there from 5 to 7 and they didn't let any other customers in. And they just brought us my dad, Mr. F. Downs, my dad was like, that's one of the best meals I've ever had. I mean, the food was so good. And it was like candle and it was great.
Here's an embarrassing thing I don't know. What's the Upper West Side mean? What is that
Sure.
Of the whole city of compared to what?
Yeah, great point. Let me answer that. Upper West Side is around the park. If you're looking at Central Park, from the bottom of Central Park, which I think is 59th Street.
Okay.
Up the west side of the park is the Upper West Side. Up the east side of the park from 59th is the Upper East Side.
Okay. So Manhattan is all south of that, right?
Manhattan is the entire island.
Oh man.
Manhattan's the entire island. Below the park into the 40s is Midtown, and there's Midtown East, and then below that you get into West Village and Lower East Side. And then I mean, I'm missing some little neighborhoods, but then the very bottom is the financial district, FIDI.
Oh yeah. That's where you go see the Statue of Liberty.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Where World Trade Center is.
Yes.
/ was, and where all the like finance bros wear their vests.
Yeah, that is a thing. I have never been able to get into a vest. I know I should.
That surprises me. Even when you were pastoring, that feels like a very pastoral thing to wear, especially in the 2003s.
No, I know. I feel like warm-wise, a nice Patagonia vest would suit me perfectly, but I just can't. I can't get past the finance bro, corporate giveaway of it all. But I know I'm wrong because very cool people I know wear vests, and especially up here when it's like fall, I should be wearing a vest. This is beside the point. I'm glad New York was lovely.
Yeah.
I am also deeply. Yeah, I know. Go.
No, say.
Well, we missed each other in New York by 48 hours, maybe.
What was the best thing you and the fam did when y'all were in New York?
Well, okay. So
you and I haven't processed this really.
It was a tie. So there were two things. One, we wanted to do like touristy stuff, like see the Empire State Building, go out to the like Statue of Liberty. We did the stuff. So Empire State Building, this was just like a quintessential moment. So Empire State Building, we're heading up. There's multiple elevators to get to the top of the Empire State Building. Mm-hmm. If you are thinking of Elf right now, those elevators in Elf, you only come out through those elevators.
Yes, that's
right.
So
you go in through like a whole big entrance thing in the back. So on the way up, one of the like the people that was working there took a kind of shine to Lucy, and was just like, and she was just like, "Have you ever been here before?" Yeah, have you been here before? She's like, "No, I'm a little nervous about the elevator." And she's like, "I'll take you." This lady ends up being the VIP tour guide.
No.
Of like, her job is like when Oprah shows up, this woman who has worked there for 50 years.
Eddie.
And she took us around the entire Empire State Building, gave us a guided tour of it, and then was like, up to the next floor. And then we go up to the next floor. Just our family. Like, no reason, just pulled Lucy. I just knew like there was something about Lucy. And so just rode the magical Lucy train and just got to see and just had this exquisite visual tour. And then went all the way up to the top of the Empire State Building or the top. Have you ever been to the top observation booth?
No.
Okay. Here's what's trippy about it. You get up there and you're just immediately like blown away. I mean, the vista is unreal. But then also I realized the room all in from one side to the other, east, west, north, south, is like the size of my bedroom. This little room I'm in right now. And you're like, I am so freaking high in the air.
Yes.
That's a little space. It was.
Yes. You're Godzilla height.
Yeah. So, and it was great. And then I think the other part is, we walked around NYU where, Lucy just like wants to go to film school there, and you never know when you're 12 what's real and what's not, but you could just tell she was stoked, and it was just neat to see her be excited and to walk around. So we walked around NYU, and that was just like a total highlight.
Y'all sent me a great pizza place, by the way.
Oh, did you go?
Reese sent me. No, I haven't been yet, but it looks awesome. It's on my to-dos while I'm here for the next few months. And
vice versa. Had a lovely piece of pizza. Per your recommendation. Loved it. So, and ate great food. It was great. New York is just magical.
This weekend was SNL 50.
I know. Let's begin talking.
How often do I FaceTime you? Once a year, max. But man, when I was in that store for the NYC or Nowhere SNL 50 pop-up, I was like, Eddie.
Sweet. That store opened the day after we left. Like we just prefaced it. So I was like, okay, but that was so sweet of you because
I'm shipping you your print today.
I know. I kind of know you are. Like, it's so sweet.
I was deciding between whether to pre-frame it for you. And the reason I'm not is not everyone wants a black frame. Some people want brown frames. And there's nothing harder than getting a nicely framed piece of art and that actually not matching your home. And so just know that I would frame it, but I think you'll enjoy getting to pick the frame better.
Oh, I will. Okay. And it's just this thing you can only get there. And it was just so sweet. So for those listening, there was like an SNL 50, obviously an SNL 50 experience. So they opened like a gift shop and like places where you could take pictures. Well, you were there. What all did they have?
Yeah, you're right. But I have to tell you about getting in there.
Tell me.
I don't think I got to tell you this already.
No, not at
So
all.
we leave. So the whole team is there. We leave and Juliet. We've seen and Juliet together.
Okay.
And we have a pizza tour 2 hours later. So we have got this window of time in Midtown.
Yeah.
And Jamie Crockett, my manager / one of my best friends, says,
Love her.
we've got to go to the SNL 50 store. And it is Sunday night. It is when the SNL 50 event is happening.
Yeah, you guys were there like prime time.
There were tuxedos everywhere. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
and so the instructions on this store, New York or Nowhere, which is an awesome brand.
Great.
The instructions say go in the door at 50th and 6th, maybe.
Yeah.
So we go. They say, hey, no one can come in here right now because you need to have the credentials. You have to be coming to SNL 50. And we're like, well, look, this store is downstairs because in the basement, if you've never been to 30 Rock, friends listening, the basement of 30 Rock is like a mall.
Yeah.
It has stores and restaurants and kind of where you ice skate. If the level where the ice skating rink is like a little mall down there. And that's where the shop was, the pop-up shop.
Yeah.
He's like, I think you need to go around. That was maybe 49th. He said, I think you need to go around to the door at 50th. We walk around to the door at 50th and you can't even get to that side of the street because it is blocked off for all the celebrities and the road is lined. It's 4:00. The actual red carpet is at 7. The show is at 8. The road is lined with black SUVs full of celebrities and everyone's waiting to see who gets out. And we're like, well, we can't go in there either. I'm telling you quickly, but it was a 10-minute experience up to this point.
Right.
So we're stopping and asking policemen, we're like, can we go in here? And they're like, no. They're like, can we go in here? And I'm ready to give up. Classic.
Yeah.
And I go and ask one more guy and he's like, okay, do you see the ice skating rink?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I'm seeing people walk down those stairs. I wonder if you can go in through the ice skating rink store and then get into the mall part where the pop-up is.
Fantastic.
And so I'm like, all right, everybody. And it's me and my 9 little ducklings walking down there. And sure enough, we sneak in through that way. And I posted a picture of this, but they had a Weekend Update desk, like photo
cool.
op. So we did a Weekend Update picture and then we got into the shop and I got a couple of things for you. And I need to tell you publicly.
Yes.
I was shopping and Jamie Crockett said, what are you getting for Eddie? And I said, oh my gosh, what am I getting for Eddie? So when Bree texted me and after I had called y'all, I said, oh, I need to give credit where credit is due. Jamie Crockett is the good friend to y'all who asked me what I was getting you, assuming I was thinking. And I was so wrapped up in my own SNL-ness that I had not previously thought of that as well as I should have. So
it was,
Jamie
thank you, Jamie. Thank you. That is thrilling. And how cool is it that they had like the SNL 50 flags all around the skating rink?
So
like
cool.
It was a real event they did there.
Over, under on the show. How'd you feel? What'd you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Middle. Rockefeller Center music thing on Friday night.
Haven't watched it yet. I haven't recorded on my TV. I haven't watched it yet.
Loved it. I thought it was the 50th that I was hoping for. It had the grandeur. The sketches were A+. Music was fun.
There were sketches in the music thing that would play it on Valentine's?
They did interstitials, and they were the best sketches of the whole, I think, of the whole weekend, including the live show. Just A+ whole time.
Fascinating. I had no idea there were skits. I thought it was just a concert.
I mean, a majority of it's music, but it was definitely the 50-year in my, like when it was done, I was like, perfect, celebrated. I thought the show itself was fun and exciting. But I thought it was a little bit flat, and it felt a little bit like it was the first time I felt like this is awful. I feel horrible critiquing my beloved. But I think it's the first time I've seen SNL and felt like, this was like Lorne Michaels didn't progress past, like it was time to see what the next version of this would be. This felt like a 10-year-old show, which was fun, but it was like, it just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't hit with me. What about you?
Can I tell you my theory on why it felt flat?
Why?
The audience was celebrities, not fans.
Oh, I could see that.
And so the laughs were minimal because they're all not, I mean, they're fans as celebrities, but it did not have the crowd reaction that a room full of blown away fans getting to be there for would have. Now, it made for a cool look for us to get to see who all was sitting out there. When Kevin Costner got stuck in between, I can't remember.
Will Forte.
Yes. And that just made me laugh so hard.
It's fantastic.
Listen.
Don't get me wrong. There were some fantastic moments of the show.
Agreed.
But like, if you go watch the 40th was electric.
Oh,
like that was
interesting.
That was electric. This was the 40th again, but it and it was missing some people that I know that there are reasons, and I don't believe the like online hype, but like Bill Hader wasn't there. Dan Aykroyd wasn't there. There were some like big SNL people that are my favorites, but I mean, Tina and Amy doing the Q&A, they are every time 100%. They're perfect.
Ryan Reynolds doing that little bit, very funny, and also like
I know.
I don't know.
I know. It's early.
I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide how I felt about it. I thought they just stay seated, mainly. Be there, but maybe don't make a joke. I don't know.
I know. That's how I felt with him because of the nature of what's being accused.
Yeah.
It's not like a, you know, somebody got it was some harmless but awful thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really have a good example, but something you could joke about, like if he had been caught with like tax evasion, right? And that's not harmless, but like, but the stuff that they were kind of joking about is kind of like, ooh, there was like awful things on that set. Like some really dark stuff with his wife that's sitting right there. I don't know. So there were just a couple little things, but
I need to draw your attention to something you did not see.
Okay, go.
Over the shoulder of Jason Sudeikis in that New York through the decade skit. Yeah. Is Whoopi Goldberg sitting next to Jonathan Rumi, Jesus from The Chosen.
Wow.
Now, I'm friends with Jonathan Rumi. Full disclosure. I love him. He's a dear human. And Whoopi has had him on The View before. Huh. But the idea that Jesus and a nun were sitting beside each other.
That's funny.
Funny.
He's never been on the show. This was like an exclusive ticket to get. There were like, there's like 200 seats in there or something.
Yes. So I guess he went as like Whoopi's friend to the show. I paused the show and I said, is that now, I also had seen The Chosen had a thing here last weekend. And so I saw them 2 days in a row. So I knew it wasn't shocking to me that Jonathan was here. I'd seen him, but I got so tickled being like, he gets to go to SNL 50 with Whoopi Goldberg from everything, but also Jesus and a sister act nun.
And a sister right there together.
Isn't that great? Crazy. The audience, and right below them, Kim Kardashian. Yeah. I mean, it's just it was like playing Guess Who or Whack-A-Mole or something, watching that audience.
Oh, it's crazy. But I also think like this was definitely Lauren's retirement. Like the theme of the whole thing.
Curious thing to say, really.
From beginning to end. I mean, from his best buddy, Paul Simon, opening, like all of this.
They're real life best friends?
They're real close. They have apartments. Their apartments there's 2 apartments on a floor. Lauren and Paul Simon.
You're kidding me.
You take an elevator up and there's 2 doors. If you go right, it's Paul. And if you go left, it's Lauren. Isn't that crazy? They're like really close friends. And Paul McCartney and Cher, like they're all buddies. Cher, okay, here's a good one. Paul McCartney, no. Lorne Michaels goes into, I think, the Comedy Cellar or maybe the whatever. It was either Comedy Cellar in New York or the one in LA. He goes in to see a show. He's scouting. He takes his friend Cher. So it's Lorne Michaels, Cher, and I think Brandon Tartikoff, who was the president of NBC at the time. The 3 of them go, get a table, sit there. They go in to see Rosie O'Donnell to see if she can be on SNL. Rosie O'Donnell ends up not making it onto SNL, but another comedian who played that night ended up blowing everyone away. It was Dana Carvey. So the night that Dana Carvey performed, it was Cher and Brandon Tartikoff and Lorne Michaels in the room at a table. And so he and Cher have been friends for a long time. And there's all these like lore, but the whole thing was, and even about Lorne, and even the song that Paul McCartney chose to play at the end. Was if you listen to the lyrics of that song, it's like, you've got to carry the weight. You've got to carry that weight a long time.
Is that a well-known song? Because the audience acted like they've been playing that every night before they go to bed, the way they responded to that song.
That is an extremely famous Wings song. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I'd never heard it in my life.
It was the one that Chris Farley quotes too. There was another little nod to it. In the end, the love you make is equal to the love you take, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Chris Farley on the Chris Farley show said to Paul McCartney, "Hey, remember that one time when you said the love you, that was like a famous SNL quote."
So it's an old, are you saying it's a Beatles song? You said Wings.
The band
I don't know
right
what
after.
Wings is.
Okay, so right after the Beatles, Paul McCartney, the Beatles broke up. Paul McCartney formed a new band called Wings.
Okay. Okay.
And with his wife and a bunch of other people.
Who is not Yoko Ono.
No.
Because that's John Legend.
John Lennon's wife. Christy Teigen is John Legend's wife. And so now we are absolutely off the rails. So, yes. So, no, it was Linda McCartney. Linda McCartney passed away.
Yeah, I've heard her name.
So Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney band together.
Do they have a daughter named Heather?
Stella, who is a designer. They maybe have a Heather, but they have Stella McCartney, who's like a very famous designer. Who's Heather?
Stop. I don't know. Who's Heather McCartney? Hold on, let me ask the internet real quick.
Maybe it's one of their kids.
Who is Heather McCartney? Oh, the interesting thing, I'm not going to quote that because I don't know what that means. We may be opening a can of worms real quick.
Everybody else is Googling.
Actually, I'm proud to say that is Paul McCartney's daughter.
Great. Is a Heather. They have a Heather McCartney.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
We got that all worked out. John Legend. So.
Okay, elevators makes me think of one more thing to tell you, and then and then you need to tell me something from your list.
Yeah, and I need forgiveness for something, so we need to go do it.
Oh, great. I got invited to an event to a dinner last week on the Upper East Side. It was a fundraiser that I was invited to. And
if you're looking at the park, you look at the right side, and it's like the northeast side. And that's
the northeast side. That's exactly
That's what
right.
we're talking about. It's Upper East.
Okay, great. It was such a nice apartment.
Yeah.
It may be the nicest house I've ever been to in my life.
Oh, yeah.
The elevator in the building was leather inside. The walls were leather. It holds 3 people max.
Ooh,
and the
small.
Doors open into the apartment.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. How cool is that? That's why it's small, because each floor, the elevator opens into their apartment.
Were you scared? Did it feel small?
Interesting question.
Because if I can,
I was never afraid because I was so impressed with the leather, and there was a leather bench. So my friend and I sat on the leather bench.
Yeah.
And then the door opened, and we thought we'd walk into a hallway. And as the door opened, we saw a painting and a carpet, and we were like, "Oh Lord!" So we stood up quickly.
Get good food? Was it good food?
Yeah.
It's got to be fancy. Was it like fancy place, but we're doing chill food, or was it like fancy food?
It was fancy place. We are bringing in someone to make food.
Yes.
Yeah. It was very cool. It was very cool.
Extremely cool.
So I just said that you said elevator, Paul McCartney, and I immediately thought not Paul McCartney elevator. I immediately thought Lorne Michaels elevator. I thought he doesn't have an elevator that opens into his apartment, but I guess if he and Paul Simon share a floor, it's probably very similar to just open. It's just like you turn left or you turn right.
Yeah. Oh, that is cool.
That sounds fun.
Okay, now back to our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
Okay, what do you need forgiveness for? And from whom? The listening friend group?
No,
or?
it's kind of you. I kind of did a thing that I haven't done ever in our broadcasting time together, and I feel comfortable enough about it to say it on a podcast, but also I was like, uh-oh. So, okay, let me just tell you, I found out a month or 2 ago with everybody else, that Conan O'Brien, who is one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Absolutely favorite.
Absolutely.
Is being given the Mark Twain Prize.
Okay.
Which is at the Kennedy Center, which is, I can almost see it from my house.
Yeah.
Okay. I do need to just tell you this. I need to get your honest reaction because I don't know if I was allowed to do it. I did reach out to the media contact and say, I am on a podcast and I'm going to be talking about this. And I would like you to let me in as
media
a media
tickets.
person.
Did it work? Please tell me it worked.
I'm on a wait list as of right now, but I've never used the Annie and Eddie Keep Talking. I've never ever done anything like this.
So glad you did.
Okay. I would be media and I would report back to it.
Yes.
It's in March. So
Are you going to be on the red carpet? Will they have you doing red carpet interviews? Listen, you better not say no if they offer that. You say yes.
Oh, yeah.
You can do it. You say yes before you feel capable. You do not wait to feel capable to say yes.
I'll say yes. I'll say yes.
Right.
I'll say yes to whatever. I think that because I'm not, like NBC, like major news outlet, I don't think they have a sense.
That's what you think. But on every red carpet I've ever been on, there are 3 major outlets and 19 other outlets.
Well, I would like to be on the red carpet. I would like to see Conan. I would like to ask Conan a question. I just want to see the thing.
Yeah.
I just want to be inside the Kennedy Center to see him get the Mark Twain Prize. Because the Mark Twain, like, it will be everyone. It'll just be comedy luminaries honoring him. So it'll be...
No question, everyone from Smartless will be there.
Oh, and
everyone.
Oh, and Letterman and Jon Stewart and...
What's the date?
Annie... Yeah. How I could not ever know that. Like, I have no sense of date and time.
You're right. That can't be known. I'm
sorry. It is March.
They'll just tell you when to show up.
Yeah, it's March around. So I may not make it, right? It may not happen. I'm going to follow up with the media contact and do the thing. But I've never dropped the I know Annie card.
How can we help you? What should we do? Do you need management to do something on your behalf? Do you want to like loop in Jamie or Kelly and say, hey, as we're scheduling this, here's the management company. Do you need that?
Let me not overwhelm them at first, because it's enough that I just said it on a podcast, right? Because this will be a thing. And if I know podcast people, like, it's going to be a thing.
Because we could always also say, hey, this is representing That Sounds Fun Network. It is. This is representing That Sounds Fun podcast. It is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a funnel here that you are in the middle of that we could go even, you're not the bottom of the funnel, you're the middle of the funnel, but there is an up of the funnel gets bigger at the top. You could represent an entire network if you so chose.
Well, according to you, just say yes. It's all right to just roll with it.
Yes.
Okay.
If you knew how many times I said yes to stuff I felt super incapable.
Yep.
You have to, and be nervous and throw up about it later.
This brings me to my next point, which is crazy. I just finished my first improv class.
Annie,
you
first doing secret stand-up and now doing improv. You're really doing it.
I'm really doing it. I have thought about you so many times in your life. You have to do improv. Like, it's
so hard.
Kinda, but it's like meditation. The entire point of improv is you do not think about being funny. You just...
Oh, interesting.
And they play these games that require you to you cannot think. You're listening to a person's sentence and you have to pick up the moment they stop talking and finish their sentence. Annie, it was so fun and it was so hard. But I'm like, I just kept thinking, like, this is what you and I do in a way. Just, right? We finish each other's
sandwiches.
That's what I was going to say.
Are you taking a one-off class, or did you sign up for a class and you've taken the first of the classes?
I've just hold on, no, it's out in the living room. I got my graduation certificate last night.
Wait, so have you done multiple?
Yeah, I've did 5 weeks.
Wow, and you graduated last night?
I graduated last night from class 1.
I've never sang on a podcast before.
And then class 2 is
great.
And then I'm doing another class. I'm just signed up for the next one. It's just so fun.
Fallon, who runs the network, that's in charge of a lot of things at the network, she is a improv girl. And we've all gone to see it, and she is hysterical.
See, that's great. She was like, I would encourage anyone, to try it. Even if you don't, and maybe especially if you don't feel funny, it's just crazy what happens when you are forced through the structure of these games to not think and to just react to other people. Like, sometimes we're just laughing at how silly and absurd it is. Like, people say the craziest stuff and you're like, oh, you had no time to think and you just said something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great, Eddie. Congratulations. You should probably let the Lincoln Center know that part. You're a recent graduate.
recent graduate of DC Improv level one with Anna. So
add it to your Twitter bio. I mean, your Instagram bio or something. So when they search you, they go, "Oh, he's an improv guy." Conan
I was trying to make a joke. What's the new social media that's everybody?
Blue Sky?
Yeah. Are you on it?
No, I just don't. You know, I am. This doesn't have to be 7 minutes, but it is a little bit serious.
Yeah.
I don't sense the internet making me a better person.
Yeah.
And so I love being a contributor. I think there are a lot of people who think I like being an observer. I don't want to be a contributor. I'm probably the opposite. I love being a contributor. I am not thriving being an observer or a content intaker. And so I am the only thing I look at is Instagram. I don't look at Facebook. I don't look at TikTok. I couldn't handle TikTok on my phone. I'm not self-controlled enough. And so I can't add another right now.
Yeah. No, I feel like the phase has gone. There was a time where it was just like we were talking to each other and it was like felt communal and newish. And then it just got scary and toxic. And now it's just like, who has time for this?
Yeah, I just don't. And I don't see it serving. Yeah, it isn't working for me. And so I just see it in a world. There's a version of me that doesn't have the internet at all. I don't want to do that because I care about my impact and my ministry and my job. And like, I think there are people who I'm thankful I get to have a voice in their lives. So I want to keep doing it. It's why I don't mind it. And when I get a month off in the summer, it's just like, this is kind of how I, at this point, wish I got to live because my brain is quieter. I'm more peaceful. I sleep better. There's just a lot in my life that benefits from being off the internet.
Yeah, I feel like societally we may have burned ourselves out a little bit with all. It's just, but then again, I mean, the only thing I post at this point is our show on Instagram, and then people just write the loveliest things, and you're like, okay, well, that was real.
That's right.
I can't find myself to post anything besides that. I'm like, I just can't, I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know. That's not worth people's time. That's not worth
it's one of the reasons I do love Instagram is it feels like the people you and I get to talk to on Instagram that respond, that comment, that send DMs, even though my DMs are kind of a dumpster fire, so I'm not in there very much. But the people who leave comments and talk to you and I are so lovely. I mean, 1 in 1,000 comments are not lovely. I mean, I have the kindest group of friends out there. And so that's why I'm still there as much as I am, as I'm like, well, actually, these people are really lovely and we have a good thing going.
Yeah.
But I can't really be, I'm literally down to email isn't on my phone very often. When I'm traveling, it is, but I don't really keep email on my phone very often. So it is just Instagram.
Yeah. Which is good. Good on you.
Yeah. So, okay. What else is on your list? You got another one for me?
Let's see. Do you have anything? We kind of covered, Conan Kennedy Center, improv class. It's one more SNL thing. Do you have anything that's not SNL?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, okay. I've had people staying with me the last week or so. And it's been great. I mean, that's been everybody in town. I am blessed and highly favored. I have a washer, dryer, a small stackable in my unit, in my apartment in New York, which is rare and just game changing, honestly.
Yeah.
But I have 3 sets of sheets and towels that would just take an actual forever.
Yeah.
So today I took them to cleaners, the sets of sheets and towels.
Yes.
It was 16 pounds of sheets and towels because that's how things get measured, is by poundage.
Oh.
It will be ready. I dropped it at 7:30 this morning. It'll be ready by 5 today.
Yes.
Between 3:30 and 5. So sorry, I'm going at 5. So between 3:30 and 5. Huh. And it cost me $28. Ooh. That feels so deeply worth it because I bet it'd have been 8 loads for me.
Oh, okay. What do you carry it in?
Thank you for asking. In order to keep track for myself, I put it in folded sheet. I put flat sheets in one pillowcase. I put corner sheets, bottom sheets in another pillowcase. I put towels in another pillowcase.
But is that
So
pillowcase also getting cleaned?
Yes.
But then what will they send it back in?
Oh, great question. Thank you for asking. They fold everything because it's wash, dry, fold, which is also blessing upon blessing. I mean, when I lived here 2 years ago and didn't have a washer dryer in my first apartment, this is what they do with your laundry is they fold it for you and then they put it in a plastic bag and tie it closed.
Even like your like underpants and
You
stuff?
have to. Everyone in this town lets people fold their underwear. Absolutely everyone. Everyone takes their shoes off at apartments, and so you walk around in your socks, and everyone lets other people fold their underwear. It is just the reality.
That is a different, I mean, I guess, because nobody has washers and dryers, and so how are you going to
So
get
you're going to have to. I mean, I'm sure there are people who like wash their delicates at home in the sink or something and hang them up, but most of my friends and I just sent all my laundry, and it just came back folded. I was like, you know more than actually anyone else, literally anyone else at this point in my life.
Right. So you bring it back and like they get, because here's what I get concerned about with this entire thing. I think sheets are like a medical supply. Like I like sheets to be clean, fresh sheets. Oh, one of the great joys of life. Like slipping your feet into like a cold sheet, cold, crisp sheet.
Oh,
Love it. But like, I don't like it, the idea that they're outside, but they'll give it to you in like some sort of hermetically sealed thing.
Yes. You don't like
you're going to have to walk a couple blocks with your sheet. You
don't like that it is exposed to the air of New York City for a window of time. Yeah.
Because it's like you taking it there, I'm like, all right, you're just poisoning it on the way, I guess, but that's fine.
Yeah.
They give it back to you in a way that you're going to get home and it still has that nice cleanness to it.
100%. It's still going to be stacked and wrapped in plastic. And then when I get in my house, I will cut it open and I will put away 2 sets of sheets and towels. And I will put on the bed 1 set of sheets and hang up fresh towels.
16 pounds of laundry.
16 pounds. Can you imagine?
It really feels worth it.
For 28 bones, and for me not to have to think all day long about changing out laundry. And the other problem is, if I'm doing it, I'm stuffing the washer and dryer full. So it's not going to be crisp and clean. It's going to be wrinkly. And it's going to take forever. And instead, the whole thing is being done 80 steps from my front door.
But isn't that like a beautiful luxury too? Like sometimes I'm like, I don't even need to make it make sense. Cause like you could have just done laundry all day. You could have just done.
Totally. But I think the cost of the water and the electricity is more than $28.
But even so, it's like those little like treat yourself things. Like for $30, you're going to be so pleased. Right.
Yeah, that's right. And it's, I mean, we are just, it is a privilege to be able to do that. You're right. Because there's some people who go, I don't want to use $30 that way. But to me, I'm paying that $30 either in electricity and water or handing it to someone else. And I am taking away time from my job to go and move laundry and deal with that all day. And I could not bring myself to be her today.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Brienne has said this a few times. She's just like, we can just buy happiness in this moment. And you're like, yeah, that's a great point. Like $28 is like, that's a worthy investment in like, gosh, that feels nice. And
there are multiple times back in Nashville, I've thought, why do I not send off all my laundry? Why am I doing like, I could send off all my laundry for $30 and it all come back. Cause the other thing, Eddie, free delivery and free pickup.
Oh yeah.
They will come. Now they aren't doing that for me today for a reason that is going to make you insane. But I chose to drop off and pick up today. But normally you can just schedule, come to my house at 9 a.m., drop it back off at 5 p.m. and it will still cost me $28.
What's the reason?
This is such a chaotic story that I have not gotten to tell anywhere else. So here we go. I have a buzzer in my apartment. I'm in a 4th floor walk up, which means no elevator, no leather elevator for me, just stairs. So when the Chinese restaurant, thought about it. Yes, 4th story walk up. That means no
Chinese restaurant.
Chinese restaurants bringing me mugu gai pan.
Sure.
They buzz, they hit a button, it rings my apartment. I say hello, and they say Chinese restaurant mugu gai pan, and I say come on up, buzz, and that unlocks the doors, and then they come up to my door.
No problem.
We have had a problem with a lot of places in New York are having this problem. where because it isn't, we can't see people, we can only hear them. You can't actually know if it's an Amazon delivery person or not. So they say buzz, and I say hello, and they say Amazon, and then they come in and take all the packages.
Oh, it's
but because they only lied to me and said Amazon,
right.
not necessarily me, but someone in the building lets them in.
Right.
And they take every package that's in our lobby. So our first thing we did is pretty much when you walk in, if there's a package sitting in front of you, you just take it to the door of the person whose it is. It's just like, here's a one way we're going to handle this. We're all just going to start carrying stuff upstairs. And so that everyone kind of does that in the building. It's very nice. We're still doing that. A couple of weeks ago, they decided to replace all of our HOA is like four or five buildings on the street. Okay. Everybody got new buzzers with a camera.
Great.
Now, last week when they went to replace them, 'twas not here. I was not in New York yet.
Oh.
So a friend of mine left a key outside. My friend Meredith, who helps manage things here for me when I'm not here because she lives on the same street. She left a key in a lockbox, texted my superintendent, and said, keys in the lockbox, here's the code. Great. Y'all can let yourselves in, do it. It was one day, there were these big signs that said, we got to get in your apartment. Sorry, this story is dragging, but it is beyond. It is beyond.
I am fully tracking the ridiculousness.
So you've got this one day, we've got to get in your apartment if you want to get, if you want your new buzzer. Meredith handles it. Perfect. The next day after, I text the super just to make sure it went okay. He calls me back immediately. Yeah. Annie, we could not get into your apartment. You do not have a new buzzer. Where was the key? No one reached out to me. And I was like, no, she did. And then I kind of had to go New York Annie a little bit, be like, no, she did. So I can give you the receipts. I can show you where she texted you. The key was outside the whole time. He was like, no, it wasn't. We did not know this. I've lived here since January of 24. Yeah. Every single time Meredith has texted our super, she's had one digit off on the phone number.
No.
So no wonder for 5 or 6 times she's had to text him, she's been like, hey, he just doesn't respond to me. And I'm like, well, I'm sure whatever he needed got sorted out.
Meanwhile, there's some person on the other side of town. Yeah.
One digit off. So that's why I didn't get my new buzzer. I currently still don't have a new buzzer. So if anybody comes here, they have to call my phone. I have to walk down the stairs and let them in. Not a big deal. But thanks be to God, I was walking outside to meet my family who was coming to stay with me, and Super is standing on the sidewalk, and he starts fanning me over, and he's talking to someone I've never seen before, and he says, I'm telling him about you right now. This is the guy who's replacing the buzzers. There is one other shot you've got to get it fixed, and it is Friday, February 21st. And I was like, I will hand you a key right now. I will be in my apartment, and I will hand this guy a key right now, whatever it takes. I am the only apartment on our entire block that did not get replaced the day it was supposed to get replaced.
And you got to get that buzzer, because now you've got to walk and get your own laundry, and it's going to be filthy. And
they could have, and the new buzzer has a camera. And so now we have to see the person's face to let them in.
One-way camera. You can see out there.
Yes, right. I assume so. I actually don't know. I haven't seen it inside an apartment yet. But I assume it's a one-way.
If it's looking at you, you got to move.
Yeah.
I can't be walking around being looked at.
I can't just be looked at. Yeah. Because the thing that would happen is if somebody on floor 2 has an Amazon package, but they're not home, the Amazon people buzz every floor just to delete it, just to send it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is why when people are like, I left New York because it was exhausting. This is part of it, right? Because it's like,
this was the same day that my doorknob fell off in my hand, and we lost a spare set of keys and had no idea where they were. So I had to go make new keys and meet with a locksmith, and realized while I was standing in my apartment that the buzzer had not happened. When I tell you, I almost just got back on a plane and was like, you know what? Somebody keep all that stuff. I wish you well in your future. And then I also said, New York is making me exactly who I want to be. I want to be resilient. I want to be tough. I want things to mess up and I have to fix them. So for a week and a half, for 2 weeks, I've been here almost 2 weeks. I have had no buzzer, and I'm about to get a buzzer tomorrow.
It is a different world though. Like even just on vacation, it was just like, oh, we have to live in a very different set of realities now. Bro. And opportunities, right? Everything is there. but a lot of stuff is just, it's just
It is
different.
hard. It's why people leave. It's why people leave. So we'll get a buzzer tomorrow. That is why I took my laundry today. Sorry, that was literally a 5-minute conversation. But
I was fully on the train with you.
It
That
was.
is the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
that Saturday when I got here and all that happened. I mean, when the doorknob fell off in my hand and I was locked in my apartment,
Oh no.
I was like, huh, this is something I don't know. I don't know what to do. So
I don't know that I would know. Like, you're just like, and you're like, there's a safety issue. You're like, I cannot continue.
I can't do anything else until someone gets me out of here, because if there is suddenly a fire and there's never been a fire, I don't get out easily.
They do have a different way of fixing things though in New York. Like every apartment that we passed, like there would be another lock, and you just realized like one deadbolt failed, and then instead of just replacing it, they just drilled a new hole and started over.
Exactly right. That's exactly. You just don't touch that old one. You don't touch the old one. You just get a new one.
Yeah, lock it open and let's get a whole new one and a whole new. It's just like, oh, we're not replacing the door.
It is not work smart or work hard. You know, a lot of people say work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
It is work smart and work hard. You have to do both here.
Do only what you can to lock the door, because
luckily my neighbor, I just texted her. I was like, hey, I'm locked in my apartment. Can you come help me? And it was truly miraculous that she turned the knob and it opened. And I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back in here. So I left. I closed the door behind me and I left and met the locksmith back at my house.
Oh, I would have freaked out hard. The idea of being trapped in that leather elevator, all I'm thinking is the inability to escape boxes.
Yeah, but then you're in a leather elevator. So you're also like, everyone here is so much richer than me. They will fix this very quickly.
Right. Because somebody's got to go in and cure that leather once.
That's right. That's exactly
like there's a certain right. You can't just let that sit. It's got to be like dusted and like rubbed with some sort of oil.
That sounds fun.
And now back to finish up our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
Okay, what else is on your list?
Okay, last thing. It's just a quick SNL thing.
Oh, great.
Did you watch the Questlove SNL music documentary?
No, I haven't yet. I'll put it on my list this weekend.
But you are going to see. I think it is the best. The first 15 minutes of it.
Okay.
Is the best editing and the coolest thing I've ever seen on television. Just cool.
Oh, you know what? I did see a clip of this because the editing is unbelievable of people singing and he says, do you know the opening song? And no one can hum it.
That's not it, but that was a great part of it.
Okay, sorry.
I can tell it to you without it all diminishing it. So Quest he directed this thing. He was supposed to just do Lauren called him a couple of years ago to like start on this documentary. And it was basically just like highlights of music, you know?
Yeah.
But Quest watched every SNL, cataloged it all. The first couple minutes of the show is literally like an editor DJing all of SNL music. Wow. And so it's like an REM song playing while a Cher song is playing. And it's just like all mixed together. It was like crazy. And so I don't know. I want you to watch it, even if you don't watch the whole thing.
I would love to.
What's it
on? Peacock or something?
Peacock. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. Just amazing.
The thing we do need to discuss is who's going to take over. What's your guess of who's going to take over for Lorne Michaels? Or does SNL stop?
I heard Steve Higgins in an interview recently. Steve Higgins is, people probably know him as the guy that announces Jimmy Fallon, but he's also a producer and deep inside SNL. He's also the dad of one of the Please Don't Destroy boys. So he said the end of Lorne will be the end of SNL as it exists now, because part of the magic of Lorne is he's been able to keep this thing as it is. He's like, I don't know if it'll stay an hour and a half. I don't know if we'll be allowed to do this monolithic thing that is so intricately tied with Lorne Michaels. He said, I think SNL will inevitably change because Lorne is he's in charge of it all. And he's just got a way, and it's his entire life. Who do I think will replace it? I mean, what do you think? I mean, people have said Tina Fey.
Yeah, I've heard Tina Fey. I heard the Popcast mention Seth Meyers, which I thought was a really smart option. I could totally see Seth Meyers doing that. I'm curious if he wants to. Do I know Seth Meyers? Not yet.
Yeah.
But so I'm not speaking as someone who has any insider knowledge.
Yeah.
I would be curious. He has 3 young kids. I'd
Yeah.
be curious if this is, hey, in 7 years, call me when my kids are teenagers, and then I can be gone. I mean, one of the interesting themes of the 50th was how hard the show is on the cast.
Yeah, it's like
The
kind of like,
anxiety levels.
running joke over and
Yeah.
over. How hard
Yeah.
it was. Like, oh, this is a truth joke. I see.
Yeah,
We're playing-
right. Which
yeah,
I thought was really interesting. And so I think that's interesting how you phrase it, that it is going to change model. And I think it probably does need to change model based on how it apparently is really driving people to drugs.
Yes, but also like it has changed over the years. So part of it is they do it just this way because they want to. Because Chris Rock always talks about like, he's like, I just decided I was going to treat it like a 9-to-5 job. And that's what he did. He treated it like a 9-to-5 and he got all the stuff
He didn't do
done.
that Tuesday night overnight.
No.
I wouldn't either. I'd be like, I'm an actual adult. I'm going to go to bed and get up and work out and then come into my job like everyone else does. Me and Chris Rock.
Yeah, David
we're very
stated
similar.
that he would regularly just fall asleep. He couldn't do it. He's like, I can't work all night. He's like, but
Yeah.
I can get a good night's sleep and have a good breakfast and be here Wednesday morning and rock it. And he's like, and everybody else is just completely out of their mind. So part of it is just like, I'm at SNL and I'm living into the lore of the way, Aykroyd did it.
Yeah.
And, like we're just, this is the model. But I think that model progresses. I think if it's someone we know, I think Seth Meyers is probably the smart money, though he is much more of a performer. I think there's also people inside SNL who we don't know as well, but that I think hold the DNA. I think Steve Higgins. I really think Higgins.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
He seems very nice.
Lovely. And he's just public enough to have kind of some cachet, but he's just
Do you know him? You've been on the Jimmy Fallon show. You've been on the Tonight Show. Did you meet Steve Higgins?
Your friend. No, Steve Higgins.
Did you add that? Did you tell Conan O'Brien that?
No, I should really. So this is 2 things I have for the media that I graduated comedy school level 1.
And you've been on the
also
Tonight Show.
I was on the Tonight Show for a minute.
As a guest on the Tonight Show.
As a guest on the Tonight Show, I can tell you.
Eddie Koffoltz.
Listen,
I can write a new bio for you right now that says everything true in a very different way than you would say it.
No.
That is exactly what you need. You need a new bio. As a guest of the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
You know my bio.
Popular podcaster Eddie Koffoltz. I mean, I got it. I got you.
Yeah.
I already wrote down Conan Kennedy Center because I'm immediately going to get on Slack and start working with our team to make sure that we are available to help you make that come true.
I think also you first of all, thank you. Second of all, there is a world in which if there's like you would go.
I would never go without you.
Right.
Without you. I would go. If they said double or nothing, double.
Oh.
But if it means you get to go, for sure I'll make it. I'll come. But I think
very
they'll
sweet,
pick
but
you
I'm
on your
also-
own. You're an independent woman. You can do it. You're not a woman. You're a man. You're a man. You're a man. You're a
Put on
man.
my big girl shoes and
that's right.
and be off.
Really do it.
Yep.
The only other thing on my list was how much I'm loving Shirley Temples right now. I'm just really into Shirley Temples right now. So that really
You and
finishes
your
my
nephew.
list.
Cannot get enough.
Oh, crushing Shirley's. It was the cutest thing ever. When he said, we're going to crush some Shirley's.
What is
I was
in a
like,
Shirley Temple? Grenadine?
can't know.
What?
Yeah, grenadine. And now this is very interesting, Eddie. Now there's a whole kid. There's a whole kid on the internet who all he does is do Shirley Temple tastings. I wish him well. I'm not trying to be him.
Yeah.
But there are 2 real Shirley Temple camps. There's the Sprite and the ginger ale Shirley Temple camps.
Ooh.
So I like them both. I'm a Sprite person in my heart, but I haven't turned down a ginger ale since I was born. And so I like them both, but I'm kind of a Sprite person. And so I think it's Sprite and grenadine is the historical one.
Sprite and grenadine. That's what they're serving kids at restaurants is probably Sprite and grenadine.
Comma adults. Yeah.
I mean, they're great, right?
They're
Shirley
great.
Temple is like, have you ever had, it's just an excellent drink. There's just no reason not to order that with confidence.
That's right. And just go like, why would I not? It's also
It is.
$4. And a vodka soda is 19 or whatever. So I'm like, no. My sugar rush from Shirley is far more enjoyable
Shirley.
than any other kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
rush you get when you're drinking. So I'm Shirley's for days now.
I do like when they put like a little fruit in the Shirley Temple too, or a little garnish.
Like a cherry.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
me very happy.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that because I do want to send my nephew Sammy some of those fancy cherries,
Oh yeah.
that are
But the ones from a bar, like the ones that
yes.
have they're like dark red and they're like
Yes.
syrupy.
Syrupy. Yeah, he needs a jar of those. I'm spoiling him. Oh. I think we're gonna make him. I'm glad my
That's his
sister and her
job.
brother and her brother-in-law. I'm glad my sister and my brother-in-law are such good parents because I
Yeah.
would ruin him as a person. I would make him into Viola isn't it
Ooh,
Viola?
don't know.
Hold on, we're about to do it again. From Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's not Viola
Oh, Violet.
Davis.
She's turning violet.
Violet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean,
I
but
could do that to
also
him given appropriate boundary, given no boundaries, I could do that to him. I do have to
being an
ask my sister
uncle or
before
an
I ship
aunt.
things.
Yeah, being an uncle or an aunt rules. That's the job.
Do you know
That's
what?
the job.
The thing I most recently shipped him without permission
Yeah.
is he got one Gatorade water bottle
Yeah.
and he said to Tatum, my sister,
Yeah.
co-author of Where Did TJ Go?
Right.
He said to her, next time we go to Chick-fil-A, can we keep the drink carrier so I can carry it like football players do or soccer players do with their Gatorade?
Wonderful.
When
love
I tell
Gatorade.
you that day I ordered him a Gatorade carrier off of Amazon and
Oh,
6
yeah.
water bottles for it, my
Oh,
sister
yeah.
was like, what is this box at our house? And I was like, sorry.
No, this is the job. This is the job.
Okay, great. Yeah.
They can handle dialing him in and doing all of that stuff.
That's right.
This is
I'm
the
never
job.
gonna discipline him a day in my life, but they get to do that.
No.
Yeah,
And a
great.
Gatorade carrier is not going to wreck him, nor some like fancy cherries.
Great. Okay, great. I'm gonna order
Great.
those right after this. I added it to my to-do list. All right, Eddie,
Love
great to
talking
see you.
Thanks for doing this.
Oh, what a pleasure. I'm so
I
glad.
love
My other to do today is to go to the shipping place and ship that poster to you.
It is a thrill. It will make it somewhere in this frame.
I hope so. I knew it. It was between that and a sweatshirt. And I thought sweatshirts, or they had like really expensive tote bags, like a $50 tote bag. And I was like,
Yeah.
you spill one Shirley in that and that you're done. Like it doesn't work.
All of it is unnecessary. All of it is very sweet. The poster was
But a
definitely
poster, yeah.
like.
I got one for me too. I'm going to hang it in my bedroom because I have oh gosh, I have to tell you the story. Shoot. I thought we were done.
Go.
In my bedroom in New York is the most natural light of the entire apartment.
Love it.
I've really been struggling to find a place where I can sit and read my Bible in the morning and like be faithful to it. And having a place and a plan is really strategic, a good way to make sure I keep the habit going.
Yeah.
And so I said to my counselor the other day, I was like, do I need to move? Do I need to? And she said, or maybe you just need a chair in your bedroom. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I just probably need.
Yeah, let's not go completely crazy. Like maybe just
Right.
Yeah.
So I had another chair in the apartment that I moved my bed to a different wall and brought that chair in, which opened up a place on a wall for art that was not previously there. And so I'm hanging the SNL print in my bedroom.
I'm falling apart. I gotta move. I gotta find.
I can't. If there's no daylight.
Window.
She's like, put a chair, put just a little chair in your room. And I was like, you know what? You're 100% right.
I love a good solution-focused counselor. Just
Listen,
like, here's a very simple thing. I'm going to cut through all of your madness. It's a chair.
Yes.
Sometimes it's as simple as a chair.
That's it. Because the same appointment was, there's no daylight in my apartment. 16 people are arriving in 2 days. And what if they have a terrible time? And what if they hate New York? And what if my family doesn't enjoy it this time? And she was like, let's get a chair and let's remember everyone but Sam as an adult. And they will pick where to eat and what they want to see and where to go. And they're really glad to be coming. And this was a fun idea and, whatever. So,
and also like, sometimes it's just like $28 worth of laundry. Like, right.
Literally.
Like how much did that change for what you needed today? Like it changed it for you.
Put a chair in your room, take the sheets across the street.
I forget that. I forget that. Like what that I'm forgetting that today. I feel myself actively forgetting that right now. I'm like, what do I need to do right now? That I'm just like, do I need to go take a walk? What are the things that I'm like, right? I just scratched my microphone. Sorry. What are the things I need to do or what's a thing that's just like, go spend $10 on it.
Go to walk.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go build a little Lego thing. Go be
What are you doing for lunch today, Eddie? We're on the same time zone. So we're at 12:35 right now. What's up for lunch for you?
Oh, I am heading into some leftover Thai soup that we made last night.
Right.
Just fantastic Thai soup. Where are you heading? What are you doing?
I've got leftovers as well from our big TJ celebration on Monday night, the night before the book comes out. We went to eat at that Italian restaurant, and behind my back, God bless them, my parents and my sister put things in a to-go box. And so I have it in my fridge. I cannot wait.
I love leftovers. They make me very happy. Also, I'm about at a 10 on hunger right now. So
yeah, okay.
Let's go eat lunch.
Let's go eat lunch.
I'm getting cranky. Yeah.
All right, friends, wash your hands.
Yeah. Bye, buddies.
Oh, you guys, don't you love him? And don't you love that Annie and Eddie keep talking music? Y'all tell us every time you hear a show, which was January, how much you loved getting to hear that music again. Me too. So we've got a whole playlist of Annie and Eddie episodes in the show notes for you if you want to go back and listen anytime. If you have any questions from this episode, drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me, or send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find. Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, the streets of New York. Anywhere you may need me, that's where you can find me. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Today, what sounds fun to me is celebrating our friend Mary Kate Morrissey on her last weekend as Elphaba on Broadway. If you get a chance, hop on Instagram, tell her congratulations, tell her well done, tell her take a nap, tell her whatever comes to your mind. And if you're going to be at the show this weekend, let me know. Me too. Y'all have a great Thursday. We actually will see you back here tomorrow for a bonus episode with our favorite Today Show host and our friend, Savannah Guthrie. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Check 1, 2 on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light. When you're down, get you feeling right. Oh man, that sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.